Welcome, everyone. Again, I'm George Maglaras, Senior Lecturer in the Marketing and Retail Division. I've traveled quite a few times in the past to Singapore to teach some of the modules in this program. I'm not teaching only, I'm also doing research in the areas of marketing channels, retailing, distribution. I have published in one of the top marketing journals, academic journals, and I'm also a member of the editorial board in one of the top retail journals. This session is really important for everyone, for all of us to understand how important it is to take into consideration the context of or the market when we are designing educational programs, when we're practicing marketing, whatever this is. And I know how important business degrees are in Singapore. So in any business-related degree, as in the case of marketing here, we need to first understand what is happening in the business environment and to adapt our practices accordingly. So let's focus now on marketing in the digital age. Let's see what how consumers are changing their behaviors or their needs are changing, perhaps, and what we should do in order to adapt our practices in marketing. Let's start with some fundamental things, because in many cases, in some of these talks, when we are discussing with prospective students, with people that perhaps they don't know exactly what marketing is, it is good first to get an understanding of what marketing is. Let's see a definition, for example. As a division here, we're using the definition from the American Marketing Association that says that marketing is about understanding, creating, communicating, and delivering value to customers and society. The term value perhaps is not easy to understand. To a simplistic definition, or to put it simply, value is what the customer gets when they are buying a product from a company, when they are consuming a service, when we are accepting an offer from a company. The tricky part about value is that it is produced, it is developed by an organization. However, the value will be, or to put it differently, it is the consumer that will say how much this value costs, for example. So one of the key examples I always use in my lectures is this one. So think about that we have a laptop. We want to buy a laptop. What would be the price of this laptop, or how much are we willing to pay for this laptop as a consumer? In order to understand what the price will be or how much we are willing to pay, we have to think, for example, the costs of designing the laptop, the raw material, the cost of raw material, the production costs, the distribution costs, and perhaps the profit margin that a retailer or the manufacturer will get from this purchase. However, if I add an apple, an image of an apple on the laptop, as in this case here, perhaps the discussion will change a bit. For example, it's not just anymore about the cost and the profit margin. However, we have to consider how much more the consumer would like to pay because this is an Apple product. And how much more the customer or the consumer wants to pay, it depends on what they think about the brand, what they feel about the brand, and all these things. So at the end of the day, it's about how much the consumer wants to pay or how much the consumer value this product. So marketing is about understanding, creating, communicating, and delivering this value. First of all, we have to understand what the consumer values or what the consumer wants or what are their needs. What needs do they have and how we will be able to help them. This is a very important point because everything starts from that, understanding what the consumer wants and needs. Then as a company, as marketeers, we have to create value. We have to create the right products, the right services in order to fulfill those needs, in order to satisfy those wants of the consumer. Once we have understood what the consumer wants, once we have created the best product or the best service, then we have to communicate to the customer that actually here we are and we have developed the best product for you. So we're communicating that we are sharing the same values, let's say, with the customer. And of course, once we have understood, once we have created, once we have communicated this value, we have to deliver this value. There is no point of creating the best product in the world if this product is not available on the shelf for the customer to buy it. And the last few years, we had so many examples because of the disruptions in the supply chains, in distribution channels, and it was so difficult to provide the product to the customer because of the pandemic and all the issues. So another really interesting example is the case of this toy here. I think it's called Elsa from Disney, I think, Disney movie. What happened in the past, that was the best-selling toy here in the UK. All kids would like to have this toy, and especially during the Christmas period. What happened in reality? Early in December, this toy was unavailable in most of the stores, which means that we ruined the Christmas of these kids and, of course, the Christmas of these parents as well. So again, delivering value is also a very key important point in this cycle of value, as we call it. Now that we have a better understanding of what marketing tries to do, of what value is, then we have to start considering the context, because we have to adapt accordingly. So the market is changing. There is digitalization is like, as we say, a fast-moving tsunami. There are so many new things in the market, and this creates new opportunities for marketing, of course. We can think about artificial intelligence, robots, Internet of Things, drones, machine learning, 3D printing, whatever you like. So many new opportunities for us to take advantage of. For example, we're using these days artificial intelligence in order to provide better service to our customers. Or we're using 3D printing in order to produce bespoke products according to specific needs of the specific customer. Or we're using robots in order to deliver products to the customer because it is faster, more convenient, etc. So the market is changing, digitalization is here, we need to take advantage of it. It's not only technology that is changing, we have new technology, but also consumers are changing their habits. So at the moment, we have over 2.1 billion online buyers, 3.8 billion people are using their social media, and not just to communicate. They're spending hours and hours on social media, scrolling the screen, and sometimes buying products from there as well. Especially, this is super important for the Asia Pacific region, because there we have over 50% of global online retail sales. So we can imagine how important this area is for the market. People are shopping across multiple devices at any time, from anywhere. Convenience is key. These days, we need to understand that the customer doesn't have time. Sometimes things that we never imagined in the past are happening. So a new research shows that many people these days prefer not to have breakfast in order to sleep 10 or 20 more minutes. So we can imagine how things are changing, how the customers are changing their habits, and we need to adapt accordingly. So if convenience is key for them, we need to help them. For example, if we're talking about the retail sector, or we can say that we need to produce more food to go offer, for example. In Singapore in particular, we have 57% of Singaporean consumers that are preferring online shopping over stores. 73% made an online purchase last year, and there is an annual growth in spending over 30% in categories such as fashion, electronics, and food. And of course, these numbers are growing, etc. $4.1 billion the consumer e-commerce market, so it is huge. To put it simply, the number of digital shoppers is on the rise. This is a fact. We need to take advantage of this. We need to understand how we can better how we can better understand our digital shoppers, how we can better help them fulfill their needs. And of course, marketing should adapt accordingly. Another example is the click and collect offer. This is something that when online shopping started years ago, the practitioners never thought about it. They thought that online shopping means home delivery. Not anymore. There are stores, retail stores at the moment that the click and collect offer is growing 100% every year in their store. So we need to adapt accordingly because this is more convenient for the customer. Good news, hopefully this pandemic is over and we can live our life more normal now, but we learned many interesting things during this pandemic as marketeers. So we know that there was a surge in e-commerce due to the pandemic. So many people started buying more things online. They were worried. They didn't want to go out. We had lockdowns and all these things. However, the growth of online channels is here to stay. This was not something that happened during the pandemic and now it will start declining. The only thing that happened was that this growth of online, of e-commerce, was exacerbated because of the pandemic. This is very important. Why? Because we need to adapt to these situations, to this situation accordingly. So in the past, in many countries, when we're talking about online grocery shopping, for example, the supermarkets didn't make money by the online orders. It sounds crazy, it sounds unreasonable, but this is what was happening because it was very expensive to do so. The consumer wanted it, the companies offered this service, however, they couldn't make money out of it. However, if now many consumers or most of the consumers, so something like 50% of the consumers will buy their products online, we need to make sure that we have the right systems in order to make money out of this offer. So we need to adapt what we're doing. We also have new consumer habits, and such as, for example, reevaluating current lifestyle choices, especially after the pandemic. Consumers thought about their lives, what they're doing, how they can improve things, etc. And of course, you are aware that so many people bought, for example, bikes during the last few years. So since consumers are reevaluating their current lifestyle choices, we need to factor this to our marketing thinking, to what we are offered to them, to what are the services that we are developing, to how we can fulfill those new lifestyle choices of the customer. So we need to adapt. More people now try the online channels. In the past, especially before the pandemic, and especially when we're talking about older consumers, there was not that much trust towards these online technologies, online shopping, e-commerce, etc. Because they had to try the e-commerce, the online shopping the last few years, they suddenly realized that actually it's not a bad idea. Actually, we can we can trust the companies offering these products online. So they tried it, they liked it, and they will stay online consumers from now on, which means we have a larger market of online consumers. Or we have other people that they don't go for shopping so frequently, so often anymore. They have fewer shopping trips. What this means? It means that if you go to the store and you cannot find what you are looking for, you don't want to go back there next day or the day after. So you will buy whatever you will find there to replace your original option or choice. I remember my lovely lady, my partner, a few years ago, she told me, do not come back home if you don't bring this type of cereals, this brand of cereals. So branding was super important and is still important. However, because of what happened in the last few years, product availability is also a really important point in the market and could make a difference in the market. So in marketing, we say that when there is a problem, there is also an opportunity. We try to be optimistic. So we have many opportunities ahead. The pandemic highlighted the importance of digital transformation. 59% of retailers are intending to digitalize their business in the future. We are becoming more digital as consumers. We have better technologies, so businesses need to embrace this change. Why? Because, and again, marketing is about understanding, creating, communicating, and delivering value to customers and society. The market is changing, the business environment is changing, the consumer is changing what they need and what they want. As marketeers, we have to understand these new choices that they want to make, these new needs, these new wants. We also need to understand how the new technology can help us. Excuse me. And based on this information, based on the understanding of this information, we need to create the right products, we need to create the right services, we need to communicate to the customer that actually we did what you asked us to do, and we need to promise that we will deliver and actually deliver this promise to the customer. So many things have happened in the last few years. Customers are spending hours on their phones every day, and the reason is not because this is something they're wasting their time there. It's because marketeers have improved the content that they are offering to the customers when they are online using social media, etc. Many online companies specializing in e-commerce like Amazon or Shopee, I think is number one in Singapore, are thriving. There is a reason for that, because they understand what the online customer wants better than the competition. The last point I would like to make is that in many cases, our prospective students think that digital marketing or marketing is all about social media, is all about influencers, etc. Kim Kardashians, if you like. However, this is an important part of marketing, but it's not the only one. Interestingly, a recent research said that only 27% of Singaporean consumers find key opinion leaders like influencers to be trustworthy. So it's a nice tool, but we need to do all the other things that we discussed in order to be successful. Understanding what the consumer wants, creating, communicating, and delivering value to customers and society. And that is concluding the session about how we can adapt, how we should adapt marketing practices in this new digital age. Thank you very much. Sileng, do you want to present the part about the program, or happy to do it as well?
You can go ahead. I saw your materials. You can go ahead. I touch on the structure after you finish the thing, or you need to rush off for your thing.
No. I can continue. I have time.
Okay.
I'm just checking.
After that, you rush off. Then I'll take over from the structure part.
No problem at all. I have time. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
So now a few things about our program, the BA Marketing at the University of Stirling. First of all, I would like to start with our campus. If you join us for the BA Marketing program or for any other program, you have the University of Stirling program. Excuse me, you have the opportunity to visit our campus for a semester. It's a beautiful campus. It's actually a touristic attraction, and I'm honest here. Please think about it. You can spend the semester here in Stirling, and you will really enjoy it. Excuse me. Now, a few things about the program. It is the BA honors in marketing. There's not much to say about our rankings, etc. All I can say is that we are consistently one of the top UK universities in marketing. This year, we were ranked second in the UK overall for marketing, and we are first in the UK for satisfied with the course and satisfied with the teaching. There's nothing else to say here. Personally, for example, we have people teaching in this program for years. We know what we're doing. Personally, I have spent about 1,000 hours in class, and many of these hours were in Singapore as well. Our educational approach, we're flying to Singapore from Stirling in order to teach the modules, in order to deliver the lectures, especially we're talking about years 2 and 3. And these modules are being supported by local tutors, which are, however, experts in their field. So again, all of us, we are teaching subjects that we are experts in. So I am teaching the module delivering value in the digital age because this is my research expertise. Just to highlight here, flying to Singapore is the best part of the academic year for the teaching staff here in Stirling. Regarding the delivery, we have mixture of lectures, seminars, sometimes guest speakers, sometimes site visits, sometimes computer simulations, workshops in order to develop specific skills, etc. So we try to cover different learning needs that our students have. Assessment, again, there is a mixture of assessment methods based on the learning outcomes of each module. So we will have individual assignments, essays, business reports, group working, group presentations, sometimes exams as well, etc. Some people don't like exams. However, they are very helpful to allow us to learn to develop the skills of performing under pressure. So this is a really important part as well. Our educational approach, we have designed the program in order to help our students understand what marketing is all about. So what did we say previously about how we define marketing? Is about understanding value, it's about creating, communicating this value, and it's also about delivering value. So what we did is that we developed related subjects modules in order to reflect these important parts of the value cycle, as we say it in marketing. So in the case of understanding value, we have a module that is called Understanding Consumers, that is teaching our students how they can understand the consumers, what are the important points there for them for their future careers. We also have the issue of the point about creating, communicating value. Again, we have developed related modules like the one about marketing analytics and brand creation. So once we understand the consumer, how can we use this information in order to develop the right brand for them? We also discussed the point about delivering value. Again, we have developed a module that is called Delivering Value in the Digital Age, in order to show how we should deliver value, especially because of the pressures that we are getting from the customer, the e-commerce consumer in our operations. I cannot highlight this enough. Digital is embedded throughout our program, throughout our courses, all our modules. It is really important. We understand it is something that marketing cannot do without, let's say. It is the digital age, so there will be discussion about the digital element throughout the program because it is part of marketing these days. So we have specific modules, but also it is embedded throughout the program. Specific modules like digital experiential marketing, social media marketing, multi-channel retail marketing, and delivering value in the digital age. It is really important to highlight here that, of course, we are experts in what we're doing and what we're teaching, but we are also getting feedback from the industry in order to improve our modules, in order to improve our programs. So we have really strong links and connections with many industry bodies like the Chartered Institute of Marketing, Marketing Society, Retail Consortium, even Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport for the delivering value element, Scottish Grocers Federation, etc. So we're using these links in order to get feedback about what the industry needs, what are the skills needed in the market in order to add those, the development of those skills within our modules so that our students are ready when they graduate to find the best job for them. Embedding employability, as we said, is really important for us. So we try to help our students develop the right CV, let's say, the right skills as well, in order to succeed in the marketplace. So apart from the knowledge that we will help you acquire within the program, we are also helping you develop transferable skills like presentation skills, like time management skills, like group working skills, like understanding the market skills, all these things that will be really, really useful throughout your careers. In addition, as we said, you will graduate with one of the top marketing degrees in the UK. This is for sure. We are consistently one of the top for quite a few years now. However, we also added extra qualifications that you can acquire through your studies and perhaps after your studies as well, in order to help you stand out from other job applicants. So, for example, in one of our modules, it is a formal part of assessment to get a certificate from an external company. It's about inbound marketing, and once you pass this, you get a pass for this assignment, you can add this to your CV as an extra certification. We are also having a partnership with the Chartered Institute of Marketing. This is the largest chartered marketing, the only chartered marketing institute in the world. And we have joined forces with them. We have mapped our program against their learning outcomes. And this means that our students can get the Chartered Institute of Marketing qualifications with limited effort. You have to study some modules with them in order to get these qualifications. The number of modules that you will have to study because of our collaboration with them is now very limited. So this is very helpful for you. Plus, if you don't have time to do it during your studies, you still have the opportunity to go for these qualifications after your graduation by taking advantage of this collaboration as well. We are proud, we are confident about the employability skills that our students are developing during our studies, during the time that they are spending with us within the program. And I will give you an example here. Here in Scotland, we have the Star Marketing Student of the Year competition. This is a very prestigious competition. It is organized by the Marketing Society in Scotland. And here we have real companies that they're developing a brief. They are asking students to help them with a specific problem. Our students, University of Stirling marketing students have won this award multiple times in the past. They have become the Star Marketing Student of the Year. And actually, I just received news for this year. Our student that represented the university this year to this to this competition has been shortlisted again for becoming the Star Marketing Student of the Year. So we're helping them develop the right skills in order to succeed in the marketplace. Now, regarding careers prospects, of course, you can go for a specialized marketing career or a more general management career as well. Over 97% of University of Stirling undergraduate leavers are in employment or further study within 6 months of graduating. Our graduates are working for high-profile organizations like Tesco, like Royal Bank of Scotland, like Scottish Media Group, many other companies as well. But for me, it is really important to say something else, because we are still in touch with our students or former students after they graduate through LinkedIn, for example. We can see how they're doing. So in many cases, because I'm stalking my former students, sorry, I can see in their LinkedIn accounts that a few months after the graduation, they became marketing executives, retail marketing specialists, marketing managers in local businesses, customer relationship management account managers, marketing associates, project managers, product experts, graduate research executive, research assistants, growth executive. So these are people that found these jobs a few months after they graduated from the University of Stirling. And these are jobs that are related to their degree of studies as well, because this is what they wanted to do when they started studying with us. Here you can see some information from about what our students think. For example, we have Alexander here that said that because of the networking with guest lectures and company visits, he was able to secure an internship while he was studying, which eventually turned into the graduate job he's now about to commence. Or Kelly said that the passion I have for marketing is a direct result of the encouragement and engagement I have had from lecturers and other staff members within the university. I would encourage anyone looking to study marketing to attend Stirling University. People can get in touch with me if you would like to share my email. More than happy to answer those.
Hi all, thanks for coming again. I believe I saw some names earlier on during the talk on media, and I think if I get Brent's questions correctly earlier on, what's the difference between the two programs, digital media and the marketing program? Now there's a slight difference. If you look at the modules, half of it from the marketing program are being used, okay, or rather we use half of the modules there from the media side for this marketing program. I think George has earlier shared with you that these are tools that we use to reach to the audience. For example, your social media, your digital creativity. These are tools that we use to deliver to the media, but not so much on the writing up of the thing itself. So for example, in the digital media program, we do things like journalism, research in journalism, we do digital publishing project. These are not covered in the marketing part. For the marketing part, we do a difference. We do a dissertation compared to digital project. Now, the difference here is that with a dissertation, and if you are thinking of progressing further to a master's, for example, or to a PhD, for example, if a good dissertation, it gives you a better standing to progress further. You can even jump to a PhD if you have your dissertation are good enough for it to be expanded to be considered a PhD piece of work. Okay, so this is a slight difference. And for these two programs, the structure is also different. We have a 3 years program here for the marketing part. We only have a 2 years program for the digital media. Okay, I think I shared earlier on with you is that we only take in students with diplomas. Okay, which is what we call top up for the digital media program. But for the marketing part, I actually have a full 3 years program that allows me to take in students who are from the A levels or who have an IB, okay, or who's who didn't do that well for their diploma, and we hope that you can start from the foundation again to join us, so that you will not be competing on rather have a hard time catching up with students who does the 3 years business diploma with NIAN or NYP. That's why I think this is the two different things. Okay, and similar to the digital media part, we also have a prep course for students who do not do the business diploma during a diploma days. You could be from engineering part. Okay, but the modules, the prep course modules will be different, which I'll touch on later on. Okay, now difference between the media program and this one, this is a 3 years program. Okay, 3 years mainly for students with IB and for students with A levels. Okay, if you have a diploma from SIM, SIM, from any of the 5 local polytechnics, then your duration will be for 2 years, unless you didn't do very well for your diploma. Now, I think I earlier touched on the rule of thumb is 2.5 and above. Okay, anything below that, then I have to look at your modules individually to see which part of the program you are lagging behind. Okay, which part? Okay, if let's say if you have done a business diploma from NIAN, for example, from NYP, for example, and you have failed your marketing modules or marketing related modules, then I'm sorry, you have to start from year 1, or you have to do the prep course to make sure that you are in a good standing before you join the main program. Okay, bearing in mind that this is a 4-year programs in UK, we have sort of cut it into 2 years for diploma students. So which means that from when George come over to teach you to do the lectures, he and my colleagues who is doing other modules lectures will not go back to the basics. They will treat as you are year 3 students in UK. They will jump into the matter itself, to the subject itself, without giving you any background. Okay, so they assume that you already know. So it's unwise for us to put you, if you did not do well for a marketing diploma, to put you into the start together with them. Then your learning journey with us will be will be a torture, because you think that the lecturers will tell you to do A and B and C, but this will not happen for university kind of education. Okay, you don't expect spoon feeding from us compared to your A levels or compared to your diploma days. Okay, you expect to work more on your own. Okay, we'll provide you the materials, definitely. We'll provide you the links, we'll provide you the titles, but it's for you to source and manage the materials yourself. Okay, now similar to the digital media program or any other programs that we have in Singapore, it's all conducted on a 2 semesters basis per year, 3 modules per semester. So same thing, we do it sequential basis. We finish module A, followed by module B, followed by module C, and then end of the semester, if there's exam, then you will do exam. Now earlier I shared for the digital media, I almost don't see any exams for the previous 1 or 2 years, but for the marketing part, for year 1, there's a couple of exams you need to take, but for year 2 and year 3, I believe we have streamlined to 2 or 3 maximum exams. So mostly for the course, it will be coursework, individual or group basis. Okay, lessons wise for the year 1 is 3 hours per class. Now, I mentioned earlier on that the year 1 is mainly for the IB students, for the A-level students, and for students who did not do that well for their diplomas. Now, for the year 1 modules, it will be conducted very similar to what you will be doing in your A-levels, in your diploma days. Meaning to say that the 3 modules will run parallel. We call it a long and thin approach. So you'll do all 3 modules every week for 13 weeks. Then in between, there could be assignments you need to submit. And then end of the day, you go for exams, either that or a final assessment to be submitted. Okay. The reason is that we hope this year 1 will provide you a good transition into our system, so that when it comes to year 2, you are in a better standing to cope with what is to be demanded from a year 3 students in UK. So this, you can treat this like a transition year or foundation period for you to get used to the system. Okay, now year 2 and 3 will be the lectures will be conducted by my colleagues like George, who will fly over from UK to share with you all their research and what is the in thing for the industry today. And then after George is finished, or any other colleagues who does the lectures for 2 weeks, the local tutors will take over for the to explain to you how to apply the theories or the examples that is given by the UK lecturers. Now, some lecturers, unlike George has traveled to Singapore extensively. Most of my colleagues did that, but sometimes we have new lecturers who may join us for a year or 2, and who may have not come to Singapore to teach at all. So end up the materials that he or she share will be using a lot of UK examples. Now, the use of the local tutors is to help you understand what is being shared to apply locally. Okay, sometimes the local tutors will also help you prepare your exams, go through the exam questions with you, or go through the assignment questions with you to assist you to do your assignment with you. Okay, same thing, classes are scheduled into these 3 slots, 8:30, 12 to 3:30 p.m. Usually for lectures, we do the 12 to 6 p.m. lot, okay, 12 all the way to 6. So we do it one day, and most of the lectures, most of the programs, you try to finish the lectures within 5 days, okay, five working days across 2 weeks. Then after that, the local tutors will take over for another 5 sessions of 3 hours each, okay. The same thing for this program as well as the digital media course. On the first semester of your final year, you call it a year 2 or year 3, depending on your entry route, you are allowed to go to 1 semester to our home campus in Stirling for a semester exchange. Okay, totally optional. The only thing that you need to pay for will be your accommodation, your food, as well as your flight. Okay, the school fees is the same thing you pay at SIM. Okay, now the admission criteria I shared earlier on, A-levels, IB, you go for year 1 and 3. That means you'll do 3 years with us, okay? Students who doesn't have a business diploma, especially for this stuff, who doesn't have a business diploma, you need to do a 3-month prep course. Now, the difference earlier on where I talked about the digital media is that most digital media students will do 2 prep modules. Okay, for students who's interested in doing this marketing course, sometimes you only do 1. Sometimes you don't do 2. You don't do at all, even though you don't really have a business diploma, so as to speak. Now, it all depends on what are the modules you have covered during your poly days. Okay, during poly days. Sometimes your poly days, you may have done marketing, understanding consumers, marketing research, digital marketing, and so on and so forth. So it all depends on what you have done. End of the day, your diploma, even though it's not called a marketing diploma, it looks very similar, or maybe 50% similar to what a diploma students will do. I think this is all thanks to our government, who has already tried to standardize what you all do during your diploma year 1. Okay, they call it foundation year. They try to standardize it. That's why sometimes, even though you don't really have a marketing diploma, your modules that you have done during your diploma days is good enough for you to be put into a year 2 and 3. Okay, of course, that is provided you meet the minimum GPA requirement. Okay, now for international students, it's the same thing. You need to have C6 O-level passes or IELTS 6 or TOEFL 567 in order to be considered entry. If you don't have that, then you have to do it in your home country before coming over to Singapore for us to consider you entry for the program. Okay. Okay, the prep course is for 3 months from May to July. It starts from May to July, 1 or 2 modules depending on what you have done during your diploma days. Okay, prep course only applies for diploma students. It doesn't apply to A-level or IB students. A-level IB students, straightforward, you come in as a year 1 students, provided you meet the minimum 2 H1, 2 H2 passes. Okay. Now, the prep course is delivered via blended learning, meaning to say that you complete half of the module in campus, another half online. Okay. Upon successful completion, you'll be given a certificate that's valid for 2 years. So, meaning to say for this year, if let's say you pass already, it doesn't want to come in because you got other job commitments, you are still on NS, you can always use this same piece of paper to come back next year to join our program. Okay. Okay, the course fees for this is the same as that of the digital media. Okay, module is 700 each. So if let's say you're exempted one, you only need to do one, then you pay 700. But if you are coming from an engineering background who totally have done nothing about marketing, then most probably you do two. Okay. Now the course fees is slightly different from the media part because it inclusive of a year one. Now, if you don't do a year one, that costs you about $9,000 for Singapore students and about nearly $10,000 for international students. Then you go to year two and year three, then the cost fee will be the same. Okay, it's about $41,000 for local students and $43,000 for international students. Okay, student development fee is the same thing for both programs. Okay, $250 for Singapore students and about $430 for international students. Okay, the closing date is the same thing as the digital media program. Okay, if you need to do a prep course, if you know that you need to do a prep course, then you need to apply to us before 3rd of April, which is about 4 days later. Okay, if you don't know whether you need to do or not, I'll show you my contact number, my contact details later. You can always email us your transcripts and we'll advise you accordingly. Okay, for students who have done the business diploma or marketing diploma, straightforward, the closing date for you is 5th of May. And that is provided you meet the 2.5 GPA requirement. Okay, the class for the prep course will commence on the 22nd of May. And after that, you complete it by the end of July or early August, then you will join the main program together with the main bulk of the students on the 21st of August, where we'll start off with the orientation week. Okay, this is my contact details or our contact details. Feel free to email myself or to my colleagues at SIM, the general email address. If you have any queries, like what are the qualifications that is allows you to come through to the main program.